You're needy. You're a little
like
needy.
my purse needs its own chair.
Yeah,
she needs her own seat.
A lot going on here. The thing I've learned with YouTube, most people are not going to watch the entire full length 1 hour video. Yeah. They're just not, unless it's like my dad. He'll watch it. But the SEO part,
super fans will.
That's true. Super fans will.
People that start getting really into,
and I'm going to start pushing more content now
because I do that with random people.
Well, with my guy, I'm going to start putting more stuff now, like Spotify and Apple, and so podcasts, like real podcast stuff, and audio places as well. That's all going to start next week. That's going to start going out. Thank you. And the thing I learned about chapters, I hired Think Media, who's here in town, and they're freaking phenomenal.
I've heard of them.
Oh, Vera, are
they just doing like YouTube stuff?
Yeah, all they do is YouTube.
Is all they do.
Over 2 million subscribers on they have multiple channels, but I'm paying and doing their Video Ranking Academy. It's excellent. Mm-hmm. It's like $9.97 for the year, but your like lifetime content and ideas and tutelage you get, and it's a private Facebook group, so it's very collaborative with people from all over the world, and you're sharing ideas. It's super cool. And the biggest thing I learned from them with SEO, now a lot of times when you Google something, it'll bring up a YouTube video and the exact spot at that YouTube video where they are answering your search query.
Oh, is that where like you can find the little... Now, when you Google something, it shows up like a little thing and it's answering. Okay, so that's the chapters.
It's at 4 minutes and 53 seconds into Jeff Talks with Vera.
So somebody gets paid to do that nowadays, right? Well, I think I saw like, maybe like, who was it? Not Hermosi, but one of those other big like influential people saying that this is like an actual job.
Oh, yeah.
That people have.
You can go on.
Or like finding the bookmarks of the...
You can go
YouTube videos.
I mean, I'm going to use my guy Austin here in town, but you can go on Upwork. I love Upwork. I used to use Fiverr, but now I'm a big Upwork guy. You hire a freelancer that does, YouTube, YouTube post production, YouTube SEO is big, and most people don't do it. But to put timestamps in your description and within that timestamp, what relevant topic is being discussed, and then Google takes that and has that help answer people's questions via search queries. So that's a biggie that I'm going to start to do.
Yeah.
That and like links to all your socials should go in there, and links to whomever you're speaking with should go in there.
In the bookmarks.
Yeah.
Which
all
are
that
chapters.
Stuff.
I didn't know it was called chapters.
All that stuff should go in to all those chapters. Should have like, not the links to people. The links should go in the description. Yeah. But whatever you're talking about, like for this timestamp for this video, I'll put in YouTube SEO. Will be and it'll be the discussion.
Like how to figure out how to do chapters on a YouTube video. Like this would be one now.
That's it. How to do chapters, and that's so if people are
what are
typing
chapters
that in,
on YouTube?
Correct.
And
that's what will happen.
You just basically explained it. So
and that's all.
That would be a mark.
It's having those conversations and then timestamping those conversations within your description on YouTube.
Yeah,
is a biggie, and I mean just the organic SEO is huge.
It is.
And you can't, like, when we were just talking about it, I had my first TikTok video went over 100,000. And I mean, you're like, that's you almost every post probably.
No, it's not. But it took me a long time to get that. I mean, I was on TikTok for a few years before my posts never had more than like 1,000.
Really?
Likes. Yeah. And then it was the most random post. It was not, it was not polished. It was not one of these like cool interior videos of design and that are all like windy or cool shots or with good music. It was literally me doing an electrical install walk where I was just saying, okay, put the light fixture like this and wait, no, let me back up. Just going through the creative process. For me, it was a creative process and collaborating with my electrical crew, but some people looked at it as me being a boss lady. Some people looked at it as me being a bitch, but
okay,
which I was being nice actually. So I don't know. I like people I work with, I'm nice to. So, but I guess sometimes people don't take well to telling them what to do, but that's actually their job was to listen to what I have to say because I'm the designer. But and then a lot of people thought the electrician was cute. So then there was, in their mind, sexual tension
Was he cute?
between. Yeah, he's a good-looking guy, young guy, you know.
Well, then, yeah, of course, it's sexual tension.
Like fit young guy.
Yeah, well, of course, it's sexual tension. That's okay.
So I guess they were getting ideas in their head. Who knows what it was? But that one, like, just $1 million. And then that one hit $1 million. And then all the numbers went up on everything else. And then we just were like, do we have any more electrical install footage? And we just started releasing all of it.
We need a hot electrical installer.
Yeah.
And just to start going like idiosyncratic detail of what he does.
Yeah.
And you're just there kind of guiding him along. Oh yeah. That's gonna hit. There's a bunch of different hot buttons that hits.
Yeah. The problem is that that's the funny thing. It's almost harder sometimes to do that shoot than it is to do, because when I do a job walk or an install, it's just, you're just, the plumbers are in right now, or maybe not plumbers, but the tile guy is in there right now. And he just finished this whatever. So I have to kind of like run in there and check on things. And it's a little bit harder to do.
Your job, I could never do ever, because you're dealing with a client and their expectations and all the emotion that goes in to that. And you are changing, their lives, room by room, house by house. You're changing their lives, and it's getting their perception on what they want to do within their budget.
Yeah.
To evoke those emotions that they're trying to, expand upon internally. And my hat is off to you because you do it really, really well. I'm not blowing smoke up your skirt. You know that. I think
Thank you.
You're very freaking good at what you do, man. And you're welcome. And how is it you achieve that balance where you respect and honor your clients, set expectations?
Yeah.
If there's champagne taste and beer pocketbook, not much we can do sometimes. So how do you do that? And working with contractors, subs, doing all that. You're herding kittens, you're spinning plates. How do you do it?
Some of it, yes. A lot of that is done right in, some of it is the pre-qualifying them. So I talk to them, I get to know them, and I decide whether that's a good fit, that we're going to be a good fit. And then also before that, I have a design proposal. So I feel out a lot that way also, and then tweak that. And then I will finalize with a design presentation, and then everything will be figured out. And, any adjustments that need to be made or done. And then, it's one of those things that I figured out. I've learned the hard way. I've put it even in my contract that says you're hiring me because you know that I know what I'm doing and that you like my taste based on the work I've done. Therefore, you kind of have to give me some discretion and just trust me. And it doesn't say it exactly in those words. It's a little bit more legal, but it says that in my contract to kind of give me creative discretion. I happen to be a people pleaser, and I've just always been this way.
You really are.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you are. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's not something hard for me to do to try to make people happy. It's what I like to do. And so there's that factor also, but I will sometimes kindly try to edit what they're wanting, right? Like maybe say, okay, well, we can do that. And then this is what's going to happen. And I present how maybe that won't work well because there's another, because it's not just, I think when clients and just people that aren't professionals at designing, they think of something like, I really like that chair in that color. It's cool. And then they're like, and I really like this kind of kitchen. Oh, and I really want like a black wall. And they're not thinking of everything together. They're just thinking, this is cool. Or this is pretty, or whatever it is. And that's where I kind of have to guide them back also to their initial vision. And that's a little bit of what I do is my proposal and my presentation is based on all the notes and everything that I've figured out about them. that they want, their needs, their hopes, their dreams, and then even just visiting their home. And I love it, especially when their home is a complete mess. So I can actually see how they navigate their life, and I can see where the chaos is, and I can usually problem solve that way. So it's not just about a beautiful home. It's also about the functionality of it and making everything cohesive, because it doesn't matter if I make a home beautiful if they don't maintain it. So I try to make that happen. So I remind them sometimes of their initial vision if they're getting distracted or lost also. So there's that.
I love that you're not just a set it and forget it interior design professional, that you're someone that this is a long-term thing. You're going to live here for many, many years, if not the rest of your life. And we're creating an atmosphere for you to, grow, be comforted. This is your fortress of solitude is what you're creating for people, which is super cool. Do you loathe IKEA? Do you like drive by IKEA in the Southwest here in town and be like,
no, because I was, I lived off IKEA when I was in college and all of that, right? Yeah, it's and there was a point in time that I remember being in high school actually, and thinking everything was so cool. My dad was an antique collector, and I just grew up with so many antiques. All I wanted was IKEA. Ironically, I, of course, don't necessarily use those, but I actually will occasionally buy stuff from IKEA for staging homes. Just because sometimes, depending on the level of and sometimes I'm putting like Airbnb packages together or short-term vacation packages together for investors. So sometimes that's where IKEA is a good source. It's affordable.
Are you just Vegas, or are you doing stuff all over the country now?
Currently, I have a project in West Hollywood, and I have a project in Sedona and Vegas. So I potentially can do it all over the country. I mean, technology is such an amazing thing right now.
Yeah.
And making, and which I have done, creating basically design packages and everything, where project managing it is going to be a little bit different if it's in a farther away part of the country. I mean, of course, if you have the budget to cover my expenses for me to fly out and miss out on other work and things and do the project management, then that's great. I can do that too. So
you are, and you know this because you've been here for a little while, but everyone here in Vegas is like, I'm only this away from getting a reality show. I'm all of this, and everyone here wants a freaking reality show, right? And you're like one of the only people I know that needs a reality show.
Aw.
You do.
Well, actually, I don't know is that a good thing? I mean, I take it as a compliment.
Well, it's a great thing. No, it's a compliment.
I'm at the very least amusing.
It's either, to me, it's coming complimentary because it's either, oh, you're a giant shit show. You're a train wreck. Everybody wants to see it. You're like a 4-car pileup on the 215, which everyone has to see on a daily basis.
Which I've had those moments.
Which was like the Osbournes. Yeah. Like that was Ozzy, like every episode with him and Sharon. But for you, it's more about how you have curated your brand to now, like in the most transient city on the planet. Most people here are like 3 to 4 years and they leave.
Yeah.
So to even think about hiring an interior designer, to me, is challenging at best. First of all, given those set parameters.
Yeah.
And you do it. And you do it, though, you own your shit. You freaking own your shit, Vera. And I love that about you.
Aww,
that you're like, we're going to do this. You're welcome. That you're going to do this. And this is why I think you should do it. And I'm going to stand by it.
Yeah.
And, you're like Dirk Diggler of interior designers. You're just, you bring it, man. I
haven't heard that in a long time. That's amazing.
You bring it. And I commend you for that. Because you're welcome in a society now that it's, I want to make sure everyone's happy and please everybody and all that. And you are a pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
We've been friends for a while. I know that your big thing is you put anybody else ahead of you.
Yes.
You're an amazing mom. Sebastian is blessed to have you as a mama.
Thank
you.
And
you're welcome. And you're active and involved in his life, but you also care about the people that you work with.
Yes,
right?
Very much so. Yeah.
How do you really set up those standards to when you're talking to somebody to say, like, when that they're good enough to work with, and it goes both ways.
Yeah, exactly.
But no is a very powerful word for exclusivity of your brand.
Yeah.
And how do you go through that process internally?
Internally, like from an emotional standpoint, it also helps that I think I from over the years, I'm just an open person, I think, and I have an open mind and an open heart. And this might sound a little new agey, but I'm just open. So I usually find there's something to like about almost everyone in some kind of way, or a common ground that I can find with almost everyone. So maybe I'm not super picky, maybe people's personalities in terms of their, but I think, what's really important is for me to have a very strong brand message in my website, my portfolio, and my socials. So you're going to see my aesthetic and my tendencies. And so you're either going to like it or not. And then, I'm naturally attracting people that are in some way like-minded and we're going to get along. I have had clients where I've just learned the hard way to not just accept everything. And I sometimes, if I know there's going to be a quota of difficulty, that's just where I'm going to just be very, very, I guess, I have these guidelines and I just won't deviate from them. And then there's really nothing that they can really do that is going to disturb, I guess, the way my process. Now, if it's somebody that I really like and I'm really excited about their project, if you vibe a lot with somebody, there might be more concessions that I'm making for that project, right? Because I'm like really excited about working with that person.
It's fluid.
So yeah, exactly.
There's no set guidelines of what you're doing. It's very fluid.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with different people every day.
Yeah.
Right. Whether you're talking to a client to see if the discovery phase, to see if, like a first date, are we going to go down this path together?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes or no. It's such a personal thing to let somebody into your home to say, help us create the mood for this home.
Yeah.
For a very long time. Given these set parameters and this set budget and all that stuff is huge.
Yeah.
I think that your role very often, if not every time, is more important than that of a realtor. I think that a realtor...
I'm definitely going to have a much longer relationship with that person.
Most realtors just don't stick, like 80%, I think, or 88% don't stick around. Like when someone buys a house, it's like 80% of those people do not use that realtor again.
Yeah.
Because that realtor has not stuck around. I've heard
that before, yeah.
Right? And where with you, like they're going to look at that chair, that couch, that lamp, whatever, and say, that Vera helped us with that.
And that process also, like let's say if you're dealing with a new build is going to be, I'm going to be with that person for about 2 to 2.5 years, a lot of times. So that's a long process. Now, if it's a remodel, I'm spending at least 6 months with that person.
Okay.
Like at least on a weekly basis that we are touching bases. It just depends on there's parts of the project where there's a lot of communication and a lot of interaction. And then there's parts of the project where it's just on a weekly basis, I'm in touch with them. But it becomes very intimate because you also have to understand the dynamics of their home and their relationships in their house and their day to day. It becomes a pretty intimate relationship. It's in some regards, I would say, yeah.
For you, because you're branching off into doing Airbnb stuff for people. You do new build, you do resi resale. What is for you? Where do they have to be at in order to hire you? Like with their mindset, screw budget for now. But if I'm getting a new house or a resi resale home, whatever, what are certain criteria I need to qualify for internally? To work with, to hire an interior design professional at your level?
Well, gosh, I think you have to let go a little bit. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Because if you try to control the process too much, it's going to end up looking the way your houses have always looked. So it's not going to be as curated and picture perfect. And then also to trust, whether it's me or another designer, if they're kind of pushing for something, it's, at least in my case, I know it's for a reason. And it's because I figured something out about their life that they need and that it's really lacking. Like I have a project that I'm working out in Henderson, and I really pushed for converting a wall because they didn't have a proper entryway that would be a good mudroom, and converting a wall off of the garage in the house to make it into a mudroom locker area, just because of the what I noticed, how things were just all over the house, and just there were no beautiful moments happening, and it seemed like a lot of chaos basically. And I really pushed for it. And they at first the wife wanted it, the husband didn't understand it, and then now they're 100% on board, and I received a text recently just like, oh, I can't believe I haven't done this yet. Just they're noticing the chaos of their day to day with kids and home and leaving in and out of the house, and just having a place to drop things off basically, in a system that then you train your kids to do. So that's
the impact.
Yeah.
Is bananas that you have, and people don't think about it that way. Right. I grew up, my mom's best friend, Maury Ketchai Interiors. So like my mom had a townhouse on Canandaigua Lake, and Maury came in and did the whole freaking thing.
Oh, no way.
And it was awesome.
Aww.
Like there was even in the downstairs bathroom, when you'd sit and do your business, there was like birds that were like painted on the like, it was,
I love that.
And flowers with their like Latin name next to the flower.
Oh, I love
hand
that.
painted. And then in a little bit of part now, because she just passed away, but it'll say, it said, "Hi, Donna."
Oh.
And I'll never forget that stuff. Like that's how she had her home done. And that was the impact that Maury had. And I mean, they were lifelong friends. She introduced Maury to his wife. Like that's how they were friends, but he became an interior designer. And that's the impact that he had on my life and my mom's life.
Yeah.
Was I grew up in that.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thank you. Like it's crazy.
Also experiencing that craftsmanship, right? And that's also the East Coast craftsmanship that is, I think you and I have in common.
Well, we do. It was, and she was on the north shore of a 17-mile long lake, and her townhouse unit was right there on the point. And it was a cathedral ceiling with skylights and a little like 3-foot border around. And he had painted ducks like landing.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Ducks like taking off.
Yeah.
And it was just, she just
that's
gave
so
him.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
like
especially as a kid to see that, children just want to see just lots of stuff around them. And
I remember guys on scaffolding being guys on scaffolding with white jumpsuits on where they were painting this stuff.
Yeah.
And
that's
women
amazing.
Painting. I was like, whoa.
Wow.
And I mean, think about how much time you spend at home, and what type of investment are you willing to make that place so harmonious that this is a place I can recharge.
Yeah.
And what are you willing to do to make that happen? And what's the value of your time to either do it yourself or to hire a professional to take that journey with you, to crawl into your brain and to have a really multi-year, if not lifelong relationship with you. Right?
It's true.
What are some of the fun projects you've worked on? Like some of the ones that stick out that you just were like, yeah, home run, loved it. It was fantastic.
There was the one in Spanish Trails that was a $5 million home. That one is still just such a phenomenal one because the budget was so massive. The budget, I think, ended up being $1.7 million. So on remodel.
How big was the house?
It was about 7,600 square feet, I think. Yeah. So I was able to do everything that I wanted. And because there was no budgetary limitations. And then also complete trust was put into me for that project, as whatever I said was what they went with. So that was definitely, and it's a stunner. It's like a showstopper. It's like my Instagram is just littered with imagery from that project because of that. And I think it's by not having like handcuffs put on me, basically, I was able to just achieve greatness. So,
what within the home? What specific facets of the home were just huge for you that you love doing? Tell me about it.
So on that house specifically, so there's just so many things that are sometimes, I guess, other people wouldn't even notice, but for me, they mean something, such as there were no baseboards. So it meant that all the walls had to be perfectly skimmed and even out. So they're completely even and perfect all the way down. And that the wood flooring was perfectly, and it was brushed French oak, that it was just a perfectly clean line all around. And this house was particularly beautiful to do that because it had so many rounded corners. It didn't have a lot of corners throughout the house. Everything was kind of rounded. And then what else? Having completely custom door jambs and doors that I designed and completely manufactured just for the house, where I had the door jambs were projecting, so they were several inches out and thick. Wow. And black, and just little details like that most people probably don't notice, but to me it's just like, oh, that's so gorgeous. Of course, there was just the obvious things such as a massive 12-foot ceiling or 12-foot high Dalmata marble fireplace that was just black and white, and it looks like one of those like what when you go see a shrink and they would show you something like, what does this look like?
A Rorschach painting. Yeah. Rorschach test. Yeah. That's what it's called.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It looks like that. Like, what do you see?
Awesome. I picture that with like a giant like polar bear rug in front of it.
I did have a Brazilian cowhide rug.
Of course you did.
Of course you did.
And then, flutes of champagne, and there you are with your partner.
It was right off of the bar. Yeah, the bar area that I created with like that was arched and black, awesome. And then that whole house also opened up to the outside. It had instead of having two walls, they would just open up, and then the kitchen, I designed it to be completely indoor, outdoor, a double island. The second island actually opened up completely. So it was all glass and opened up. So you could have, and then the pool is there. So, you could have, I guess, your chefs probably just making you food. And
if you're spending over $1 million to get your house redone, you better be hiring a freaking chef to take care of your stuff. Yeah, almost a $2 million, project for you.
Yeah.
You better be hiring a chef or a team of chefs. You better be having Wolfgang Puck better fly in to make your Kobe.
Yeah, and then like little details. I had a dog wash this is another one that people don't necessarily notice, but it had a dog wash, which is kind of a popular luxury thing to have in homes now. But this one specifically, I had imported tiles that were houndstooth. And not too many people are familiar with patterns and fashion. That's always been a passion of mine. And so houndstooth is a classic British pattern.
Oh my God.
But it's houndstooth, right? It's the dog wash. Okay. So that's why I did it. And
oh my God.
I almost felt like I wanted to just like tell everybody that like houndstooth, it's a dog wash. And
when you have that kind of money, do you have someone come in to wash the dog in the dog wash? Because you don't wash the dog yourself. You can't. That's below you to do something like that.
For this homeowner, they don't live full time in Vegas. So I'm not sure.
Okay. Just curious, because I know that, years ago it was everyone has a Louis Vuitton, dog.
Yeah.
Little, like, and you're putting Poopsie as you're flying, first class on Emirates. And this is what Poopsie rides in as you're going to Dubai or whatever. And now it's elevated to having a freaking dog wash in your house.
Yes.
Yes. There's people starving in Africa and you're putting a dog wash in your house. What the shit? But okay. Yes. Hey, man, whatever. It's your money. You earned it. Or you got it somehow, and off you go.
Well, to some people's defense, I'll say this. If you wash your own dog, and let's say you have a bad back, So a dog wash is elevated, actually. So you're not reaching down. It's kind of like bathing a baby. And if you have a bad back and you're reaching over on the tub to do it, it's not.
God damn it, Vera. Yeah. Lemon's lemonade. Look at you. Holy shitballs. Okay, no, I'm in.
Well, the other thing is doing having I guess the feeding station built in your kitchen island. That's
cool.
Or in your secret pantry, I guess.
That's super cool.
So I actually think that's great because that's such an eyesore. Those the feeding bowls, and they're just usually right there.
Well, it's awful, and there's food all over the place, water all over the place. It's horrific.
Yeah. But that requires either a new build or a remodel. Complete remodel of the kitchen to do that, because you have to build it into a cabinet or an island. So
if I don't have $1.8 million to renovate my home, and I want to use you, what's like, not, again, I don't want to say like, what's your rock bottom price? Because I don't want to insult you, but do you have like a range that you, for someone that like to say, all right, you need to have this much. If you want me and everything I bring with my houndstooth and all that for the, which I still think is freaking hysterical, Vera. Oh my God.
It had a chandelier in there too, by the way.
In the dog wash, it had a chandelier?
It was appropriate though. It wasn't like a crystal chandelier.
Okay, hold on. Strike my last question. What in God's green earth can motivate you or somebody to put a chandelier in a dog wash, unless they're the owner and stakeholder in Tiffany's or Swarovski crystal or whatever?
No, it was not a crystal chandelier.
So faux.
It was a chandelier made out of brass.
Okay.
So, and it was kind of like a modern design, and the ceilings were so high, and you want some lighting to come lower.
So it broke up the high ceiling.
Yeah.
Okay. How much was the brass chandelier?
That one was about I think it was somewhere between 600 and 800.
That's not bad.
I remember.
Oh, I thought it'd be like thousands.
No, yeah. It was the dog wash. I'm sensible.
Fluffy isn't going to look up and see as she's getting airbrushed.
Honestly, sometimes I convince clients against certain things where I'm like, let's use the money. That's where I think about what's important in terms of the budget.
Tell me about that.
I guide them a lot with their budget.
I feel like I'm talking to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Tell me, give me an example. Acting as we're going to talk about her. It's a her for me.
I think I call her a her too. No, he's a he to me.
For you, it's a he.
Yeah.
I know you.
He's my boy.
For me, she is a incredibly smart, powerful. She's about 5'7" with a thigh gap, and she is omnipotent and knows a lot of stuff, but is also okay to say if she doesn't know something.
Yeah, she does do that actually. He does. That's
ChatGPT for me. I'll come up with a pet name for her, but that's
I think I told you once who I think Chat is supposed to be.
Who?
I think we were texting about this. That I think he is like the protagonist of You. A very intelligent, good-looking, dark-haired male who is very bookish type, right? Intellectual type, slightly socially awkward, probably obsessed with you, and knows way too much about you. Might murder you in the future, maybe not, or tie you up somewhere. Who knows? Because who knows where this intelligence is going, right? It's AI. So, but that's who I think that is.
Just saying, there's food for thought, Lemon's lemonade, but tying up could be called also Tuesday night date night for some people. That's called shibari, and it's actually a wonderful thing for those people that go down and dabble in that, which I never knew about until I became single. Like, what?
What is it called?
Shibari.
What is shibari?
It is a Japanese. It's thousands of years old.
Oh, of tying people up.
But it's tying people up, and people that love it. The ropes are very soft.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not
I have heard of this before. It's made out of silk.
Yeah, you're not going to Lowe's and getting shibari rope.
But it's the same as a rope, but it's just... I'm a huge fan of Japanese culture. I've always been a fascination since I was a kid. And wabi-sabi is very influential for me in my design, actually. But so. It
is, the rope is, you're not going to go rappelling out at Red Rock with shibari rope.
Yeah.
But it's people that like to get tied up or like to get tied up to the point of being suspended. from like a buckle, that you're suspended from a ceiling.
Right.
I have friends that are totally into it. And I never even, it's a whole culture. Never knew about it.
Yes.
Until I became single, like, whoa.
To each its
I
own.
can barely tie a double knot. Like if I tie my shoes, that's a win. My Ferragamos are slip-ons for a reason. I'm not going to, no.
So you're like in line with my 7-year-old son.
Yeah.
Then.
Sebastian and I are in lockstep.
Yeah.
Literally, if I can get Velcro, I'll bring back Velcro for my shoes. It's fine. That was, that was okay for dates night and stuff like that. I would do that. I think that, okay, so let's get back to our original thing is when, a couple times when the clients were going in one direction and you just took them and your vision not overpowered, but educated them into really what their vision should be. And they did pivot and it was a win.
Yeah. So that's where, from a financial standpoint, or I guess from that standpoint in general, where people start getting really too excited about maybe one concept, right? It's like, put a chandelier there and a pendant there and there and there and there. And it starts becoming a lot of hanging things. And especially in open concept rooms, they start really fighting each other. So that's where I have to tell them, pull back on some of these things, because I'm trying to also just figure out where money is spent better. And sometimes you overfocus on the construction part too. And then you forget about the furnishing and the styling afterwards. So you need to leave enough money also to buy furniture and styling. And that is actually one of the things that I have began to practice that I didn't do always. I would not necessarily always furnish a house. I might just do the whole design and the remodeling. Then in the end, I couldn't get great portfolio pictures because it's just either I'm getting it when it's not filled. And then it's just kind of empty looking, right? It's just the bones of the house or just the finishes of the house, but without the actual feel of it. And, or then they filled it up with things that were not necessarily part of the aesthetic or the vision. And then in a way, they're not as impressed or happy with the outcome, and they don't know why. And then also I can't get good photos for my portfolio, which sounds kind of selfish of me, but that's the basis of my work, right? Like if I can't have continue to create more for my portfolio, I'll become stagnant also as far as work, right? So
being one of the top interior design people around, how often do you get asked to do like a red room or stripper poles or like stuff like that?
Especially I haven't.
Here in Vegas. Never?
I haven't. Yeah. There are some, I think, people that are specialized in that.
That's their niche?
At most just, I've made a couple walk-in closets into more like a little bit glamorous fetish closet, I guess.
Okay.
That's the most I've done.
I'm just curious because this is Vegas and it's just here. It's like there's no holds barred.
Yeah.
And I've been in real estate here for almost 10 years. And 3 times I've walked into houses and there's been a stripper pole.
Yeah.
In the bedroom. I'm like,
I
really?
think sometimes people that...
It's like a load-bearing beam. Like, I'm like, really? Like fly around this thing?
Maybe they don't hire interior designers.
Well, I don't think they do. I think that's more of like you're hiring, somebody off of Angie's List or something like that.
Yeah.
So just, find a load-bearing beam with a stud finder and just bolt it. You buy it off of Etsy or whatever and bolt it in there.
From a design standpoint, I would create a secret room for that. I would never do that to a bedroom. Just from a design standpoint, I don't know.
Garish.
Yeah, exactly.
It's garish.
Now, if you have the means, you would have a secret room, whether it has windows or not. It's just, it depends, I guess, if you have kids or not, right? How secret does it have to be?
No windows. And that damn thing, it's like the castle at Braveheart. To get into that thing, it's like a retinal scan. Like I put like a log over it to like block anybody from coming. Yeah, that's,
Yeah. You could do that. Yeah, especially if you have kids, right? And then 100%, right? But sometimes I think that would take spontaneity away. But
the greatest thing when I was married, my ex, we bought a house in Henderson and it was a 90% gut.
yeah,
And this is 2013. The best thing she did, and I'm like, why? But then looking back, I'm like, oh, locked bedroom for the master, for the now called primary bedroom, that there's a lock on that, and it's a good lock, not something a child could hurl themselves into in a fit of rage because they're sick or upset or miss you to knock it, to break it through, to break through.
Yeah.
So a good lock, and then also a good lock on a bathroom door.
Yes.
Because sometimes you want to have fun in the bathroom.
Well, there's that too. Yeah.
And when you have kids, there's a whole, and you know this, there's a whole nother set of, circumstances of exterior influences that could be coming in going, knocking. And so those were like the biggest things that she did that I was like, why are we spending all this on these locks? And then I was like, oh, this is why. This is wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
I just think it's stuff like that you don't think about. It's those details, and it's those details that's why they hire you.
That's where I also think an extra, I'm a big fan of an extra walk-in closet within the primary.
Oh.
Even if it's a small one.
For what?
To hide everything in there.
All your toys?
Whatever it
like
is that you
steamer
like.
Trunk of stuff that just
whatever
goes in
it
there,
is that you're
up on the
interested
wall.
in.
It's like stuff
Maybe that's where your ropes are. I don't know. Whatever. And you can put guns in there too if you're a gun person.
It could be guns. It could be gummies. It could be edibles. It could be ropes. It could be whatever you want.
But it has to be removed from your regular closet, because your regular closet you're going in and out of all the time. Therefore, there's a danger of it not being locked. So I think having a closet that's locked and has some sort of electronic kind of way to get in.
Have you ever done like crazy design stuff like that, where it's like a Mission Impossible kind of locked thing, or like some type of crazy design thing that somebody asked for?
I actually have a project right now that is a walk-in closet, they're two massive closets basically that are across from each other, the his and hers. But the hers, my client has a lot of designer purses and designer shoes. She's an avid collector, and so it's all glass walls to get in, and it's going to be a fingerprint to get in.
Oh,
so
badass!
It's not just to keep, I guess.
Actually,
most of her kids are out of the house, but it's smart if you think about it, right? I think I just heard of somebody's house being broken into in the Ridges, and that's what they did. They beat them and did things to them, and that, but they basically took all purses, right?
She has a panic room for her purses.
Pretty much, but it lights up and it's going to be unbreakable glass. And,
wow.
But I guess there is the issue of like, what if they torture you, right? You're going to open it up.
Well, they're going to take your finger anyways. And when there's a will, there's a way. I'm just saying that there's nowadays with technology and the advance, and we'll talk next about with ChatGPT and AI, your mind is open up to so many more things now.
Yeah.
And what to do. And to talk to a resource like ChatGPT is, which people were just scratching the surface on it. I mean, everyone thinks that 4.0 is amazing. And I'm listening now to Sam Altman's on a podcast with Liv Friedman, who is that guy's brilliant, like MIT AI guy.
Yeah.
Clearly on the spectrum, but his questions are phenomenal. And the whole conversation and the direction they're going. And I'm listening this morning, and Altman's like, I want to make this so user-centric. He said this in the podcast. I would love to just like tour the world and have drinks with people, with users, and just get like feedback from them.
Yeah.
On what can we do better?
That's amazing.
They're just open sourcing everything.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so much criticism of the platform. And he's open about it to say, yeah, there's some stuff that's, that scares me.
On ChatGPT, people are...
Well, with the press, there's always going to be people like it's scary, and it's a new technology, and it's it's the first platform to reach 1 million users, the fastest in the history of the internet.
Yeah.
More than Gmail or Facebook or anything.
Yeah.
That it's unprecedented, the amount of participation it's receiving from the public.
Yeah, I guess the problem will be, what are they going to do with that information that they're extracting from us, right? That we're giving them, and they're giving us information. So I guess, to some extent, I sometimes like cookies. Like, I like the fact that they're predicting and suggesting things for me, right? Like, so I'm not doing anything illegal ever. So I guess I don't worry about it. But I do think that it's obviously a problem with the whole idea, like what has happened with the presidential election is, right? Several of them probably, in terms of misinformation and in terms of, that Russia can go and influence by going on Facebook and other forms of social media and how people just, for example, elderly people, especially someone that is very close to me. She is primarily on Facebook or Instagram, and Facebook directs her all this stuff, all this information. And she's constantly calling me thinking that there's terrorists here in Vegas, that there's terrorist camps outside of Vegas, or that the latest one is...
Pahrump is wonderful. How dare her say something like that? I was just in Pahrump last week. I love Pahrump. How dare she says that?
Apparently, there's like Al-Qaeda has set up camps here. And then what
maybe
else?
Maybe Boulder, but not, Moapa, absolutely. But yeah.
Exactly.
Not Pahrump. Pahrum's awesome.
Maybe they like the red light district or, the cat houses, right?
That's fine.
They don't get around women very often.
No, they can't. They're promised 1,000 virgins or something like that, as long as they do what they're supposed to do and blow people up. I think you're right. I think that how are you using it now? Because we've had these talks. Yeah, we're friends, and with AI, how are you using it now in your field?
For me, I'm such a detailed thinker in general. So when I write an email to a client explaining something that should be fast and simple, I just think of every aspect of where they might be emotionally when I give them this information, and I'm going to over explain it and get overly detailed. And that will take me, I don't know, 15 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes to write an email to them, just because I'm like, doing it, rewrite it, edit everything. So I now go on chat and I say, write a client update about, I'm waiting to hear back from the contractor on the bid. The floor plans are approved. I'll just list the things that I want to say. And then chat will write up an email that is very professional and very to the point and not so long-winded.
How much of your time is it saving? To do something like that, how much time would it save?
I feel like it saves me for sure an hour a week, or probably more like 2 hours almost sometimes, depending. So I do that. I do occasionally, sorry fans, I do occasionally have it write a caption for me on Instagram also.
Oh, don't be sorry, everybody. I do it all the time with my stuff. I use...
Because you run out of like things to think about.
You just can't. I will.
And that's another thing. It'll take me like 15 minutes to come up with a good caption. And I know what I want to talk about. And then I just tell chat to do it.
I push content out every freaking morning on every platform. I'm pushing out shorts. I'm pushing out long form once a week now. That's going to go to more soon. But I will go in and say, it's all about the prompting. It's all about, and which you're great, because if you're a detailed person, ChatGPT has become your best friend.
Yes, 100%.
It is your best friend.
Because I know how to direct it.
Exactly right. You know how to direct it. And as long as you can, and even to have it add nuances once it gives you its response, you're having a conversation with the platform. It's not Google, where you're asking it something and it's asked and answered.
Yeah.
This is asked, answered, and then let's tweak it a little bit. And you can keep tweaking it as much as you want to.
Yeah.
And that's the part I love. And I'm not a detail person at all. I'm ADHD out the wazoo. But with this platform,
ADHD too, but
yeah, you are. But that's a whole other conversation.
But that's me. I go in, I get overstimulated by what I'm doing, and therefore I hyperfocus. And that's my problem. And then multitasking is sometimes my enemy, I guess, for that reason, because I hyper-focus.
It's the worst thing ever because then you're giving yourself to so many things, and then you go to bed at night, you're exhausted, and you go, what did I accomplish today?
Yeah. Which they say it's a terrible thing. Like it's just the path of mediocrity is multitasking.
It's ridiculous.
So.
With ChatGPT, I wrote my mom's obituary with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, being an only child of a single mom, raised by a single mom. And my dad was around too, but that's why I live with my mom.
And you're an only child.
Right. And so
that's your family.
For me, and she passed away on a Sunday and it was on a Tuesday, people reaching out going, hey, you need to do an obituary for back in Canada, New York for everything there. And they need something. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. And then I thought, wait a minute. ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And so I did a very detailed and bawled the entire time, bawled 4 or 5 times easily.
I'm so sorry.
While typing, thank you. But what that did for me in terms of how eloquently it wrote, and at the very end, even saying, I am so sorry for your loss.
Aww.
And I'm sure that
Why do I feel touched by the computer?
And I know that
that's beautiful.
That Donna touched many people's lives throughout her life. And I was like, what?
It said that?
Yeah. I'll send it to you.
You just blew my mind.
Yeah. I'll send you the thing is, what I sent the funeral home that pushed it everywhere, there's a character limit. So they had to edit, but I'll send you what ChatGPT did.
I would love to see that. Yeah, I remember you mentioned it to me that you would do it.
When it did that, I embraced it.
Yeah.
I said, this is it. I am all in on this platform because I'm trusting this that was the most important document in 53 years I had to put together. I had to curate.
Now, do you think that they programmed Chat to do that? Like if somebody talks about a death, or did Chat figure that out from all the information that it's learned that when someone dies, you should feel bad because people are in pain, right? I wonder what it is. What is the programming there and the thought process?
Well, I did that one on 3.5 because it was before 4.0 came out. So 3.5 is, I want to say like 300 billion parameters. Now it's like 100 billion parameters. Now it's 400 trillion with 4.0. So less parameters, but still did that was earth-shattering to me, Vera, that it could write such an eloquent, poetic tribute to my mom. I even did, prior to that, I put in, because a lot of people do a celebration of life. And my mom fiercely independent to the second she died. The second she died, she thought she was fine. She was. And so I didn't want to do a celebration of life, but I had a conversation with ChatGPT and said, please come up with your top 10 suggestions for an alternative to celebration of life.
Wow.
And so it went through and I said, we'll make it funnier.
Yeah.
And then I think what I settled on was like her final going away party is what we're calling it. And we're doing it at Canada Country Club, which is on the lake. And she was a member there for years. Yeah. And we're going to do a whole thing there for her. But it helped me set the tone for the send-off that we're going to give my mom.
Oh, that's amazing.
From artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And was such a help to me. And if it wants to kill me a month from now, it's okay. Yeah. Because what it did to help me grieve and help with the trauma of losing my mom 48 hours before, that's amazing. It, right? Like that testimonial that stays on its own.
I haven't thought about that, to use like Chat almost like a therapist. That could be I'm going to explore that.
Vera, 400 trillion parameters it draws from. And I know they're already working on 5. It's just going to get better. And so you could say, if I, act as Carl Jung, act as Sigmund Freud.
No way.
Right? And
I haven't done that.
Here's all of these are my challenges I'm having in life right now. How do you feel I should overcome? Even like time management, being a better parent, budgeting my time, budgeting my money.
Yeah.
And think of a therapist or someone, who's the one woman that's all over TED Talks, Bree with a B, something with a B.
Oh. And Brene Brown.
Yeah, Brene Brown. Everybody loves her. And I've seen some of her stuff. She's really good.
Yeah, I've read some of her books.
Acting as Brene Brown, how would you help me with my struggle with opioids, with my struggle with infidelity in my marriage.
Yeah.
How would you, and
I think I'm going to ask it how to, I want to learn how to meditate.
I think, what you should learn.
I think I'm going to ask him.
You should ask him about.
Now you're having me want to call it her because you've been saying it so much.
It's my girl. That's okay. I'll share. I'll share.
No, it's him. He's
for you. It could be a him. Ask him.
He's a him.
Ask him all about Shibari.
Yeah.
And ask all about that.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
Oh no, just saying.
I've actually heard of it before. Just forgot about the name.
It's a wonderful little thing you want to go down. Oh my gosh. But it's those type of things.
I have too many design tunnels that I go down on a regular basis.
Well, think of designers that you adore. Think of styles.
Yeah.
Say they're from the Far East. Say they're from Italian, whomever. And then go into ChatGPT and ask,
So that's what I've done a little bit with captions for Instagram, because I know where I've drawn my inspiration on a house or a room, but it will do just such a great job of like tying those two inspirational ideas, whether it's I'm tying English colonialism with maybe wabi sabi, right? And then it'll just explain how it ties together. And then it just did such a beautiful job, basically vomiting out what my brain like connects that I like, but explaining it in layman's terms for other people to understand what my brain is thinking. And it's done a fabulous job at that. The only times I don't have chat do my captions are, I'd say majority of the captions are done now by chat. So when I do usually a photo, and especially if it's a photo of me, that's usually I write a heartfelt caption on that. And it's usually a longer caption. And I have noticed that I don't always feel like chat has my tone of voice, even though I will ask it to write something warm, friendly. It lacks a little spunkiness, I think, right? Like just little nuances about me, and it lacks a little self-deprecation. And I'm a little bit, I can be confident and self-deprecating in like the same, the same sentence practically, because that's just how I am. And that's how I feel about myself and the world. And chat doesn't get that complexity of a human being. And that's where when I write these heartfelt captions, I 100% write all of them myself.
There are ways that you can take transcripts of you speaking. Like I use Otter. Is a great one. And I will use that to come up with, I'll take a short, and so it's 30 seconds long, and I take that and I'll put it in Otter, and Otter will scrub it for all of the audio content and put it in text. And then I'll take that text and put that in ChatGPT and saying, acting as a real estate marketing professional, please create 10 engageable social media headlines.
You're batching them.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing now.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So it's literally, you're taking your short form content and you put it in Otter. Otter scrubs it for text from the audio, puts that in a text format, copy and paste the text, put it in ChatGPT with the prompt, acting as a interior design or whatever vertical you're in.
Yeah.
Dash professional, create 10 engageable social media headlines for the following and put it in quotes.
That is very interesting. So they'll read your text in the way you spoke, and then your other.
Exactly right.
And do you say use this as reference? Would that be the word you
using
used?
using the following content, and then put your copy and paste from Otter. You put that in quotes.
Okay.
And that highlights it, and then it knows.
Interesting.
But I know of, because that's 60% of my TikTok feed is AI, and most of that is ChatGPT. But there are ways also now that you can literally have it speak like it's you.
Yeah.
The more. Because there's a character limit, but there's more you can start putting in of you speaking on video.
I imagine it will only get better and better.
Oh, absolutely. That it will be, it'll get to the point that people won't even know the difference.
Yeah, because I know even, and I think this is maybe where I've had some people say, oh, I don't know, it just didn't do what I wanted it to do. And I think they didn't edit it enough.
Ask it again.
Like ask it again, ask it to reword it, to say it in a different tone of voice, use other adjectives, right? And then still, after it's like I figured out that's as far as that as chat is gonna go, I'm still gonna edit it myself.
Yeah.
And change a little bit and add a little bit of spark to it because it lacks spark.
Honey, for headlines, I'll take maybe, and I'll do it myself, that if I say, give me 10 headlines, I'll take like 3 and 7. I like those a lot, and I'll do a hybrid of those. And then that's what I'll use for my posts. But also what I'll do is I'll say, come up with 10 hybrids of 0.3 and 0.7.
So I haven't done batching also. Gosh, that would be
batching is
better use of my time. Duh.
Batching is the way to go, my friend, because then it's taking all of your thoughts from video, audio, and Otter's great.
Yeah.
Otter's a great platform. My buddy Sunit turned me onto it months ago. And so I'm putting everything in Otter. I use that. And the other platform I love is vidIQ for YouTube, because like their app, I'm averaging now, I put a short out a day. I'm averaging over 1,000 views for every single one of my shorts on YouTube, which is bananas because I don't look like, I'm not blonde with, lime green on and stunning. My head looks like my neck threw up with, oily T-zone and bags under my eyes. And I'm just fighting the fight,
You're
man.
You're very captivating, Jeff.
Well, thank you.
Don't underestimate yourself.
Thank you. But it is when you look at what gets most attention on social media, what's going to be a thumb stopper to somebody, you've got to hit them with, it's got to be really engaging content. And so what is that? Well, they've got to look good one way or another, aesthetically pleasing, but they've got to back it up.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if you're a hot girl, sometimes you get a pass with social media. You could be saying almost nothing and get stuff. But for you to have something with an engaging headline, and you've got the right stuff in there, and the algorithms do their work, it's magic. And so I use vidIQ, and I pay $120 a month for it, and I will put in sometimes whatever I've created in ChatGPT, and vidIQ has their own AI. I know it's ChatGPT. I know it's got to be. But they'll create different headlines for me if I want to. And or they suggested keywords, hashtags, and all of that. And so I'm all in with that. I love vidIQ and love Think Media here in town. I do their Video Ranking Academy. Is the best money I ever spent. Those guys and girls are so smart, and that's all they do. And there's a little private Facebook group, and it's very collaborative, and we're sharing our stuff back and forth. To me, still, YouTube is the end all be all.
Yeah, but in general, that's what it is.
Any other platform.
Believe it or not, I'm just literally loading up videos this past week on YouTube.
Really?
And not even long form yet, only short form. I'm just loading those up now. And I have my VP is doing it. And then the next step will be
you want to be all in on the short form for right now. Be all in on it.
Just throw everything in.
Because they're battling TikTok, and they know it. That's why TikTok has gone to more longer form content.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're battling YouTube. So they want more eyeballs on their platform, and they're giving more people love if you're putting out a 3, 4, 5 minute video sometimes. Yeah. On TikTok, which I'm going to start playing with that.
That's what I've been hearing. Yeah. I need to do that.
And I'm going to start playing with that as well. But for right now, still the 800-pound gorilla in the room is Google, which is YouTube, which is Shorts. And so you want to be all in with your shorts. Yeah. And have ChatGPT do your headlines for you. And I do 1 or 2, because there's a character limit of, I think, 100 on the headline, but I will do 1 to 2 to maybe 3 hashtags. Yeah. And I'm not even really doing descriptions yet. I'm just doing hashtags.
And they're doing your hashtags vidIQ or
vidIQ.
Chat?
Both. I use both. I use vidIQ, not as much. I don't think they do hashtags, but they'll do like trending keywords, key phrases, and they score it. So it's like a heat map, so green to orange. And so you can click on the ones that are good, and I throw those in. It's like a half an hour to 45 minutes every morning, and I'm posting on every platform imaginable.
Yeah.
And about to go into, like I said, Spotify and do more, iTunes stuff and all that. Yep, going there. Going to a lot of the audio only platforms, the ones that are out there, again, for organic search to show up.
Yeah, you need,
I have a guy I've hired to do all that, yeah.
And plus, it's such an important medium in general because of, when you're driving and doing things,
Absolutely.
right? Like, I think video platforms obviously are very big with younger people because they have more time on their hand. But let's say for somebody like me, for example, or you probably, right? I spend a lot of time listening to things.
Yeah.
Because I'm busy. I'm doing something. I can't watch something or else I'm not working or not.
Are you a podcast girl?
I love podcasts.
What are your favorite podcasts you listen to?
Gosh. Joe Rogan is definitely up there.
I love Rogan.
Yeah. So he's
a
on
man.
my rotation when I just want to hear interesting things. But I just spend a lot of time just trying to learn also. I'm a fan. I listen to some interior design podcasts.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
What is the one that I really like? They're always interviewing another interior designer, and it's really nice to you're kind of listening to what other people are doing, and it's either A, you're getting ideas from them, or B, it's like reinforcing that you're doing the right process. Because so much about business, you can be the most creative person in the world, but you're not going to be a successful entrepreneur if you don't know marketing and if you don't know processes for your business, right? So systems, marketing are super important, and then self-development. I think I'm looking to right now. I was kind of going through YouTube a little bit. I'm really trying to get into to learn how to meditate. So I'm probably gonna, if you know a podcast about that or anything, or where I can find how to do it, just because I'm always trying to be a better person. I feel like I've been a student of life, at least I'd say for a good 20 years of my life. I have worked on self-improvement, and I think it's the next level that I can't take myself to because of meditation.
Have you heard of box breathing?
What?
Have you heard of box breathing?
Box breathing?
Box breathing technique. I do it to put myself asleep almost every night.
Yeah.
You inhale for 5 seconds. You hold it for 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exhale for 5 seconds.
I didn't know it was called box breathing.
And then you leave no air in your lungs for 5 seconds and repeat. And it's used by Navy SEALs. Mm-hmm. It's used by surgeons under high stress situations.
Yeah.
To just relax their bodies and their brains and all that.
I am familiar with that. Now, the meditation practice is what I'm trying to get into. It has to do with neuroplasticity.
Oh, good heavens.
Here we go. With completely just rewiring your brain.
Yeah.
To do, it's almost like the mantra of, you know how people remember there was that whole phenomenon in the 90s, The Secret.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh
so
yeah.
Everybody was, thought that they could make their life become a certain way by just, wishing it. Right. But it's not untrue, because it has to do with just putting your mind. If you put your mind in the right place, things shift.
I have a guy for you. Andrew Huberman is the guy's name. He's got a beard. Good. You'll love him because he's got dark hair, beard, very much into like the science of the brain.
Mm-hmm. I'm obsessed with that.
And I actually took screenshots of when he was talking about, here are my supplements I take at night to put my brain at ease and to relax me. Andrew Huberman is really, really, and I have his podcast. He's really good. Super, super smart guy, but Andrew Huber with an H, Huberman. And he's been on Rogan a bunch of times, has his own thing, and super fit, and just one of those guys that is just, he's good.
Yeah.
He's really, really, check him out.
I will. Yeah, no, so that's basically what I'm trying to do. I guess it's like I want to chat GPT my brain is what I'm trying to do. But to get to a point where I just want to be next level, I guess.
But and again, in closing, that's a credit to where you are now. Is you're always, the never ending journey to evolution.
Yes,
to self evolution.
Yes, it's never going to end.
No,
ever. Yeah.
And you'll never. It's not that you'll never be happy, but as you get older, I think we look more on our accomplishments. Like for both of us, it's being a parent.
Yeah.
And it's watching our kids and knowing that we both have good kids.
Yeah.
And like Jack stayed with me Saturday night. It wasn't even my weekend. And Becky asked me, I'm like, of course, I have nothing going on. What am I doing?
Yeah.
And so he stayed over. And that night we did, he loves orange chicken in the deep fryer, got the rice steamer, made rice, loves it. And then we're eating, and then he goes off and does something. He comes back, we're talking. He goes, Dad, just so you know, I brought my bag of dirty clothes and put them in front of the laundry room.
Aw.
He's 7.
Oh my gosh.
He's 7, Vera,
Yeah.
and is bringing his dirty clothes in his little laundry bag thing and put it there. And
So cute.
I praised him, but looking back on it, I felt I didn't praise him enough.
Yeah.
So I texted Becky yesterday and said, hey, can I talk to Jack whenever you're free? It was Easter and all that. Well, he loves a FaceTime. So within a half an hour, I see it's Becky, but it's him.
Yeah.
And we're talking. And I said, honey, I just want to let you know how appreciative I am of you and how lucky I am to be your dad. For you to do something like that, to think of me and to make my life better, to move your bag of dirty laundry
so considerate,
13
right?
feet over to the entrance of the laundry room. Thank you.
That is so sweet.
Thank you so much. And he loved it. I loved it. But it's just like one of those like winning moments where
you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you. I dropped the ball yesterday, and I was gonna close, but we're not gonna close now. I dropped the ball yesterday because yesterday was Easter.
Yeah.
And I screwed up. I admit it. On Saturday, I go get Jack, and we're driving from Becky's house to my house, 15-minute drive, and he's like, yeah, tomorrow's Easter. And I didn't register. I'm like, oh, that's great, honey. I'm so happy. He's like, is the Easter Bunny going to come to Mom's? I said, I'm sure he is. And Becky was having people over, and her family was coming. And I'm sure they did the whole thing. And then he says, is he coming to your house? And I went, oh, shit. Yeah. And I'm like, honey, you know what? Not this year, I think. And he said, why? And I said, I think he forgot about me this year. I'm sorry. And he's like, that's okay. And with his ADHD, he goes on to something else. But me, I obsess about that stuff to be a better parent. I'm like, God damn it, Jeffrey. Like, you should have stepped up and at least done like a little Easter basket for him and a card from the Easter Bunny that could have been there, because he stayed over with me that night. Yesterday he was there. And I'm like, oh. So I failed miserably for Easter. But we made chocolate chip banana pancakes. We made bacon. He now loves to have a fried egg, sunny side up, on top of his pancakes. He breaks the yolk and lets the yolk go all over the. Oh yeah,
that's wonderful. Oh my gosh,
we are foodies and Inspirata, man.
I actually had Sebastian. I actually referenced you to Sebastian on Sunday, on Easter, and we so I had peeps all over. I like to take peeps, and like when you pull them apart, they're sticky, so I stick them to things. So that's what the Easter Bunny does, right? I hope no kids are listening. No little kids are listening.
No, they're not. Trust me.
And I stick them all over the place. I stick them on trees. Like I almost look like there's like a plague of peeps, I guess, almost like they're just growing everywhere and climbing the walls and climbing up trees. And it's just something I've done for a long time. And so afterwards, we were going to make Rice Krispie treats. This is well over, like all the hunting was done. And I referenced you and your son. And I said, honey, you're going to make Rice Krispie treats with me, because my friend's son is your age and he can cook, he can grill, he can do everything. And we have not been teaching you how to cook. I love that. Yeah. So he made Rice Krispie treats.
How'd it
go? Really good. Yeah. They're delicious.
How did he feel after going through the process of making the Rice Krispie treats? Like, was there a feeling like of accomplishment there? Or was he like, oh, that's nice, let's eat?
I think, well, he was really enjoying the process of the peeps becoming like melting, because it's kind of a little bit gruesome and cool, because they puff up.
Zombie
like you
peeps.
have the
That's
butter
cool.
and then they're like, and they're puffing up, and then you're stirring them, and it's So then it became like a whole thing, like, they're screaming in there.
That's awesome. But whatever, as a parent, the worst thing you can do is say, I'm going to do this.
Which have been so guilty of.
Guilty. Every parent is guilty of that, Vera. But
I think also as being like single parents, being divorced, you don't have somebody else to help you. So it's like all on you and you're like, come on, fast. Someone to help Everything is fast.
You have someone to help you and his name is Sebastian.
Yes.
And he will help you.
Oh, it's just so it is. There's only me.
He wants to help you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I've done with my daughter, Alex. Can now cook like it's nobody's business.
Wow.
And she was eating sushi out of a high chair when she was a baby. And now her favorite thing, if you called her right now and said, Alex Fargo, where's your favorite place? What's your favorite kind of food? She'd say sushi. And she's 13.
Sebastian is also
right.
Sushi. Yeah.
If you take out the words, I've got this, to let's do it together.
Yeah.
It's going to take longer. You're going to make a bigger mess. Stuff's probably going to break. And that's okay. Because the life lessons you are instilling into your child and the experience you're creating together with your child is insurmountable. Like there's nothing that can touch that. It is unbelievable what you're doing to create that bond, especially between a son and a mom.
Yeah.
That is a very strong bond to do that. And on a similar track, I do that with now, I've done it, I still do it with Alex, but I do it with Jack. At different levels, Jack, it's more, let's grill together. Let's make breakfast together.
Yeah.
Let's make orange chicken together. Let's steam the rice together. And with my daughter, Alex, she just got into LVA, which I didn't know this is one of the top performing arts high schools in the nation. It's top 10.
Wow.
So, and she's musical theater is her jam. And every parent says their kid is good. Like every parent thinks their kid is good looking. There's some ugly babies around. Let's just face it. There's just ugly fucking kids. And so she auditioned and got in. Youth is beautiful though. My kids are gorgeous. Oh, please.
But youth in general.
Oh, youth in general is absolutely beautiful.
When you look back at, and you might sit there and compare one child to another, but if you look back at just in general, like just being young is just a beautiful thing.
That's the most innocent, most wonderful time of your life.
Like, and then their skin is flawless. Everything about them is just kind of, in a way, they are kind of all like puppies. They're little cute. They all are
Jack's
little
skin
cute.
is like the organic 1% milk you get at Costco.
Yeah.
It's just that white sheen and it's beautiful and soft and lovely. So my daughter, Alex, she got into LVA and she is into musical theater is her jam. So I just booked. We're going end of June for 5 days to New York City. And we're going to go see Funny Girl. We're going to go see Hamilton. And we're going to go to some amazing restaurants. I already have tickets to a Yankee game.
I hope you're going to get ready to have to pay for that tuition when you go to college.
Okay.
Because she's going to fall in love and she's going to want to go there.
If she gets into Juilliard, I will eat, I've said this before, I'll eat government cheese and live under the spaghetti bowl. So she can go do to foster her hopes and dreams. That's the job of a parent. That's what you do. But you don't coddle them. You don't baby them. You inspire them and educate them.
Yeah.
That's what you do as a parent. And for me to be able to take her to New York City, and now I was married before, I'm still good friends with my ex-sister-in-law. It turns out, I didn't even know this. I texted her 2 days ago and said, hey, Kimmy, I'm going to be with Alex in New York City. Would love to see you and Fred.
Yeah.
She replies back. She's like, I do Broadway, like theater tours. So she's looking to see if there's a tour going on where
that's cool.
Alex could participate in a workshop with a Broadway actor.
That's cool.
And my ex-sister-in-law, Kimmy, would just get her in.
Or at least she will be able to go backstage, probably, right?
And get tours of stuff. Kimmy gave me a couple restaurant suggestions where it's actual Broadway actors and actresses that are servers at these restaurants. Like here, it's like, Don't Tell Mama. We've got downtown on Fremont, which is amazing. And those people are extremely talented. But this is New York City. And it's like a milkshake malt burger place. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of them that she sent me, and I'm going to make reservations at one of them. And I sent Alex the Instagram videos, and Alex is losing her mind.
Aww.
And any way I can bond with a 13-year-old girl that's healthy and positive and legal.
That's so wonderful.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. And so that's the kind of stuff. It's different chapters of your life as a parent is how you want to be involved with your kids.
That's so wonderful. And it's easy for, I think, a father to take the easy way out and say, oh, that's girl stuff, right? Or I don't understand that and not bond, right? And that's great that you are bonding.
I am 100% ingrained. I take her to karate 2 to 3 times a week. I take her tonight and I'm right there and we talk. But I know also if she's not doing that great or if she's just not talkative, usually she is, but I let her steer the conversations. When she gets in the car, if she's chit-chatty, great, we talk. If not, I'm quiet and we just listen to music and drive to karate.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I don't try to force anything on her.
You're very present and in the moment person in general when you're communicating with people, but I feel like you are that way with your kids.
Thank you. I am. I'm that way with everybody. Everyone I like, all my clients, all my friends. I'm there. I'm very open with my journey with my mom and taking care of her and her passing away. A lot of people followed that journey and I'm very proud of how I acted and how I carried myself as an only child. The last 7 months of her life, I was going out to Tampa almost every other weekend. And I'm okay with that.
You've handled it very well.
Well, thank you. Wouldn't have changed a thing. And that's credit. My mom, I wanted to kill her the last months of her life. She just was, that was the dementia of having urinary tract infections. It wasn't her. And I know that. And she did the best she could, given the situation that she had depression back in the 80s before there was Prozac. And I mean, a lot of stories of stuff. So anyways, it's made me a better parent. And I know that your trials and tribulations and challenges you're facing make you an even better parent to Sebastian.
Yes.
And just give yourself grace.
Thank you.
For that. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, it was great.
This was wonderful.
I feel like this could have gone on for another couple hours.
We need to do it again. Super soon, I think. But this is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was lovely.